Hi, Heather from Hooked on Pickin' here. I am going to share with you today the top 5 difficulties of selling on Amazon FBA and Amazon Merchant Fulfill. But mostly I'll be talking to you about FBA because that's primarily what I do. I still do some Merchant Fulfill, but not as much. And so I did already put out a video of the top 5 reasons to sell on Amazon and what fun it can be and the positives and the encouragement that can go along with it. But here are some of the difficulties that I have found recently that I deal with. It's currently May of 2016, almost 4th of July, so it's the end of May. And some of the things that I have found that have been hard for me is, number one, you're dependent on what you can find. So I am dependent on Walmart putting things on clearance. I am dependent on Books A Million and Five Below and the Dollar Store and all of these other stores putting things on clearance and hoping that I can find the right item that Amazon warehouse needs and that the customers want so that I can sell it. And so that's the biggest difficulty, finding the product. Now, I usually do a pretty good job. I put in anywhere from an 8 to a 10-hour day, once a week, usually hunting for product. And my husband sometimes goes with me. It's kind of a fun outing for us without children. But that's the number one difficulty that I have found, especially in the summer months. Usually right after Christmas, you can find a lot of stuff because everything is overstocked and on clearance. But just being able to... one of the ways to alleviate that is being able to network. So talking to the Walmart employees, talking to the store employees of the ones that you most frequent, going to thrift stores, things like that, and just telling them what you do, because a lot of times they will keep you in mind, and when something comes up, they'll let you know, give you a call, or when you come in that next time, they'll say, hey, guess what? Come over here. Let me show you this. This may work for you. And so being kind and courteous and networking usually is the best way to keep on top of getting a lot of product. The number 2 difficulty that I have found in selling on Amazon is that you have to be extremely self-motivated. If I decide to sleep in every day of the week and only put 1 or 2 hours in of work on Amazon, for one, I'm not hardly going to get an order out. I'll hardly have anything to send in, and basically effort equals reward. So if I work very little, I make very little. But on the flip side, if I'm very self-motivated and I say, I got a ton of time this week, I'm going to just really work my tail off and get a bunch of product out, more effort usually makes more reward. You just have to be smart about your sales ranks and make sure you're choosing items that customers want. The number 3 difficulty of selling on Amazon is that you have very irregular income. You can live on what you make, but it's very difficult to budget that. So there have been weeks where I have sold, in my 2-week disbursement, I've gotten a deposit of around $4,000. And then, I kid you not, almost the next week, or I think the next two disbursements after that, I got a deposit of $600 because I had a lot of returns. Some from that previous $4,000 disbursement, but just from other times too, or I just didn't sell a lot of product. And so it can swing, the pendulum can swing pretty far back and forth. And so being smart about what you choose to send in, how much you pay for each item will help to alleviate some of that. And I kind of average right around $2,000 every disbursement. And so that usually helps me to subsidize things. And I usually pay bills with my income since we live primarily off my husband's income, and mine subsidizes being able to live in a gorgeous house with this beautiful property with a lake in the back. And so I do things with my income, such as we just recently paid off one of our vehicles with my income, and then we're able to pay down on, if I get a big disbursement, then we're able to pay down more on our mortgage and things like that. And so just being smart with your money and being able to budget wisely, but sometimes it's hard with that irregular income. Okay, the number 4 reason why it's difficult selling on Amazon FBA is playing by the Amazon rules. It seems like every month there's a new restriction, there's an inventory alert, you can't send a product in because of hazmat, a customer returns it, and then when you ask for a removal order from the warehouse, you look at it and it's broken by the customer, and so you have to go through the rigmarole of being able to contact Amazon to be reimbursed with that. or you don't get your money back at all. It's kind of the customer always is right. Sometimes you get returns from customers back to the warehouse and they're not relisted. And then you get the item back and it's brand new. It could have been relisted, but you had to pay the 50 cents. And generally I just take those. And if it's still new in package the same way that I sent it in, I will send it back in brand new. But just don't be sending damaged stuff back in and listing it as new. Don't do that. But, having to play by Amazon rules sometimes is hard. But just staying up on other YouTubers like me, Rake and Profit is a good one. Other people that I watch all the time. Entrepreneur Girl is another girl that I watch, a lady that I watch all the time, that are very, very good about giving you the information that you need, usually right when you need it. Number 5 reason why it's difficult to sell on Amazon FBA, there's no time clock. So sometimes it feels like, especially if your office is in your house, that the work is never done. It's always, you're trying to relax with your family and it's yelling from the other room, you've got to list, you've got to label, you've got to ship, and it feels like your work is never done. But being very, very studious with your time and saying, okay, on this day I'm going to work this, and on this day I'm going to work this, and then on this day I'm not going to do anything with Amazon, helps to give you those days off. And some weeks are crazier than others, but you just have to be flexible with that. So it can sometimes feel like, your business is always calling you. So those are the top 5 difficulties that I personally endure when selling on Amazon FBA. Number 1, you're dependent on what you can find. Number 2, you have to be self-motivated. No work, no money. Number 3, it's a very irregular income. Number 4, having to play by the Amazon rules and staying up to date on those. And number 5, that there's no time clock and sometimes it feels like work is always there and calling you. But anyway, I hope you watch my top 5 reasons to sell on Amazon to keep you encouraged. And if you have any solutions for my top 5 difficulties, please comment, like, subscribe, and let me know if you have any questions. I try to get back to you as quickly as possible. And remember, in the end, Jesus wins.